rights of every man. I am a real American. Fight for what's right. Fight for your life.
I think elections are about the future. But how do you determine what will happen in the future? Well, you have to look to the record. You have to look to what we say in campaigns and what we have done during our careers. You have to look to the record. You have to look to what we say in campaigns and what we have done during our careers. So
I believe that marriage is not just a bond, but a sacred bond between a man and a woman. I have had occasion in my life to defend marriage, to stand up for marriage, to believe in the hard work and challenge of marriage. So I take umbrage at anyone who might suggest that those of us who worry about amending the Constitution are less committed to the sanctity of marriage or to the fundamental bedrock principle that it exists between a man and a woman going back into the mists of history as one of the foundational institutions of history and humanity and civilization, and that its primary principal role during those millennia has been the raising and socializing of children for the society into which they are to become adults.
Do you think New York State should recognize gay marriage?
no.
No. Okay.
Well, you have to look to the record. You have to look to what we say in campaigns and what we have done during our careers. So
They are not just gangs of kids anymore. They are often the kinds of kids that are called super predators. No conscience, no empathy. We can talk about why they ended up that way, but first we have to bring them to heel.
We have to bring them
apologize for mass
to
incarceration.
heel. Okay, we'll talk
I'm
about
not a super predator, Hillary Clinton.
Okay, fine, we'll talk
Can you
about it.
apologize to black people for mass incarceration?
Well, can I talk, and then maybe you can listen to what I say? Okay, fine, thank you very much. There's a lot of issues in this campaign. The very first speech that I gave back in April was about criminal justice reform
You called black
and
people
about
super predators.
You're being rude.
That's
not appropriate.
Super predators. That's
This
rude.
is not appropriate.
That's rude.
Now, you want to hear the facts, you just want to talk.
I know that you
Okay.
called black youth
You're
super
trespassing.
predators in 1994. Please explain to the record. Explain it to us. You owe black people an apology.
Well,
Excuse us. That's
tell you what,
inappropriate.
if you will give me a chance to talk, I'll approach your side. You know what? Nobody's ever asked me before. You're the first person to ask me, and I'm happy to address it, but you are the first person to ask me here. Okay, back to the issues. The issues that...
Well, you have to look to the record. You have to look to what we say in campaigns and what we have done during our careers. So,
If I may, Senator Sanders keeps bringing up the speeches that you gave to Goldman Sachs. So I'd like to ask you, you've said that you don't want to release the transcripts until everybody does it. But if there's nothing in those speeches that you think would change voters' minds, why not just release the transcripts and put this whole issue to bed? You know, first of all, there isn't an issue. When I was in public service, serving as the senator from New York, I did stand up to the banks. I did make it clear that their behavior would not be excused. I'm the only one on this stage who did not vote to deregulate swaps and derivatives as Senator Sanders did, which led to a lot of the problems that we had with Lehman Brothers. Now, if you're going to look at the problems that actually caused the Great Recession, you got to look at the whole picture. It was a giant insurance company, AIG. It was an investment bank, Lehman Brothers. It was mortgage companies like Countrywide. I'm not saying that Senator Sanders did something untoward when he voted to
Madam
deregulate
Secretary.
swaps and derivatives.
One
But
second,
the fact
Senator
is,
Sanders.
he did. And that
What about-
contributed
but
to
what
the
about-
collapse of
what
Lehman
about the
Brothers, which
transcripts?
started the cascade in the Great Recession.
Senator Sanders, 1 second, please. Secretary Clinton, the question was about the transcripts of the speeches to Goldman Sachs. Why not release them? I have said to put a button on this. You're running now for the Democratic nomination.
Right.
And it is your Democratic opponent and many Democratic voters who want to see those transcripts. It's not about the Republicans at this point.
It's what's wrong with politics today. Hillary Clinton will say anything to get elected. Now she's making false attacks on Barack Obama. The Washington Post says Clinton isn't telling the truth. She championed NAFTA, even though it has cost South Carolina thousands of jobs. And worst of all, it was Hillary Clinton who voted for George Bush's war in Iraq. Hillary Clinton, she'll say anything and change nothing. It's time to turn the page. Paid for by Obama for America.
I'm Barack Obama, candidate for president, and I approve this message.
Well, you have to look to the record. You have to look to what we say in campaigns and what we have done during our careers.